7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago now, I moved to Nashua, New Hampshire to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist congregation there. I had no connection to Nashua or New Hampshire and really never thought I would live in New Hampshire, of all places. And I knew no one in the city other than the 6 people from the search committee who had brought me there. In the 7 years since, I have met a lot of people. Now, when I go downtown or to pick up my kids from daycare, I more often than not run into someone that I know. But I've really struggled to make actual friends, and I've longed for a deeper community in this place that I now call home. When I first moved there, I tried going to some meetup groups, but the options were pretty limited. I remember there was a hiking group for middle-aged women and a board game group that didn't specify an age, but seemed to be mostly populated by folks in their early 20s who had grown up right there in Nashua. And so I had a couple awkward evenings with some awkward people who I was not super interested in getting to know further, and then I gave up. Now, I've had a lot of good excuses for not putting myself out there more. I have friends and family who are just a little bit of a drive away, so I'm not totally desperate. I've got this job that has all kinds of weird hours and takes all kinds of energy. And then I had a couple kids who also have needs at weird hours and take a lot of energy. And of course, the ultimate excuse, a global pandemic. But excuses aside, the truth of it was and is that I'm scared. It's really scary to try to make new friends, to find community as an adult. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, and there's that ever-present fear of rejection. What I would really like, if I could just have my way in the world, is for the perfect friendships to just fall into my lap, to just happen. In fact, I'd love to skip over that awkward getting to know you part of it all and just jump right into the middle part, where you already know that you like each other. But alas, it doesn't work that way. We all know that. So this fall, I decided I was going to stop waiting for things to fall into my lap and put in a little bit of effort. Perhaps it was these 2.5 years of pandemic that pushed me over the edge. Aren't we all a little famished for IRL connection these days? Or perhaps it was parenthood. I have loved becoming a parent, but to be honest, it's been one of the loneliest things I've ever done. Whatever it was, I realized that I actually know how to create community. It's literally my job. And it was about time for me to take a breath and see what I could build for myself. So I stopped searching all over for the ideal meetup group and decided to make one for me. A couple of weeks ago, I got as far as deciding what this group should be like and even creating a space for it online so people could find it. And then I went to share it in a few places to see if there might be others who were yearning for the same kind of community that I was looking for. I had written this whole vulnerable thing typed into my computer, and just as I was about to click send, I deleted it. It was a mistake, I swear. My therapist doesn't believe me. But here's what happened. Do you ever do the thing where you're using the shortcuts on the keyboard to copy and paste? And to hit copy, and instead of copy, you hit paste? Someone else has done that. Please tell me you do that. Yes. And then whatever it was that was in there before, that you had copied before, appears unbidden, erasing all of whatever it was that you were going to copy. So that's what I did. And no matter how many times I clicked undo, and I clicked undo a lot of times, I couldn't get it back. And of course, when I looked at the clock, it was time for me to go and do the next thing. So I just closed my computer, that vulnerable post having disappeared into the ether. That was a couple of weeks ago. Now, it was actually a genuine mistake, and mostly I felt really frustrated. I was about to do this hard thing, and then technology had other ideas. But I will also admit to feeling a little bit of relief. Maybe the computer had saved me from making a big mistake, from having my vulnerability put out there into the world, met with rejection or ridicule. Now, the next morning, because the universe works in mysterious ways, I turned on one of my regular podcasts that I listen to and found myself listening in my ears to experts talking about loneliness and about the challenges of making friends as an adult. A little on the nose, right? According to the experts, loneliness is not uncommon. In fact, 1 in 5 adults in the United States says that they feel lonely, and those are just the ones who will admit it. If you look around just this gathering, see how many people are online? That's a lot of people who are just listening right now. They also said what I already knew but clearly needed to hear once again, that making friends requires effort. That friendships don't just fall into our laps, especially as adults. That too many of us are in our heads worrying about rejection, creating an awful loop where no one gets what they need. That in fact, showing vulnerability, admitting to loneliness, revealing the messiness of your life, asking for help is the best way to build relationship. That someone needs to make the first move, no matter how scary it might be. It was as if they had gone into my head and recorded that episode just for me. All of this was swirling in my mind when I was asked a few days ago to give a reflection tonight on the theme of the crowded table. As I re-listened to the song, it was the second verse that struck me. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Just like the expert said, if we want friendship, if we want community, if we want that crowded table, we have to sow the seeds, to put in the effort, to lean into the vulnerability and the possibility of real connection. It also struck me as I was listening to this that if I were going to share about this tonight with integrity, I had to actually follow through on my own first move. And so on Monday, I rewrote that vulnerable post, this time in a place where I knew for certain it could not be deleted because it auto-saved every moment. And I put it out there. I had no idea what the reaction would be, but so far, I have been met only with gratitude from others longing for the same kind of community. And over 100 people have joined. We have got our first gathering planned for next weekend. Now, will I find any lifelong friends from this group? Will I find any friends at all? I have no idea. But the experts claim that I will at least be happier because I tried. And I think I might believe them. Because if we want a garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. Plant a little happiness, let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. If we want that garden, we're gonna have to sow the seed. In this season of New Year's and new beginnings, I invite you to join me in leaning into the vulnerability and possibility of connection. Sow the seeds of happiness. Sow the seeds of relationship. Sow the seeds of community. And let us see what beautiful gardens we can grow together. Come with me on this journey.